Active weather is returning to the country as we have another major winter storm that will be pushing across the country this weekend into early next week, and we'll be breaking down each of their impacts on today's weather forecast. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday out there. Make sure you press the subscribe button down below, especially for detailed weather breakdowns across North America. Also, be sure to press that like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Looking over the past 24 hours, we had a clipper system moving across portions of the Midwest into the Ohio Valley, bringing some lighter snow and a rain-snow mix there across that region. Looking at some of those snow totals out there across far eastern Iowa, far southern Wisconsin, north central Illinois, and especially into the Chicagoland area on westward there toward Rockford, Illinois, and then getting into northwestern Indiana, we did see a nice coating to about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of snowfall over the past 24 hours, but much of this that has fallen has actually melted because our temperatures on Tuesday were well above freezing across those regions. Looking at our precipitation map today, we have a very quiet weather pattern. It's kind of the calm before the storm, if you will, as we have the remnants of our Clipper system across the mid-Atlantic here, moving into the western Atlantic basin off the east coast of the United States. A double area of high pressure across the middle of the country will be keeping us high and dry, but warmer, more importantly, with the ridge of high pressure in the middle of the country there. And then we have another storm system across the Pacific Northwest, across Washington, Western Oregon, and northwestern California, bringing some heavier rains and some higher elevation snows there today. And looking at those rainfall totals across the Pacific Northwest, we're definitely seeing 1 to 3 inches worth of rainfall, especially for western Washington, western Oregon, and getting into northwestern California, including the northern Sacramento Valley there through that Friday, December 8th time frame. We're also seeing some heavier snows across the higher elevations of the Pacific Northwest. A lot of those ski resorts getting a fresh supply of the snowpack out there through the Friday time frame, another foot to 2 feet in some of those areas. As you go higher in elevation, you see some heavier snowfall totals there in the Pacific Northwest. But let's look at the overall pattern and zoom out the picture here across North America. You can see we have that trough across the Northeast, bringing some cooler weather with our Clipper system that's moving out today. But to the west, across the middle of the country, with the red shaded color, that is a ridge of high pressure. And what that means is typically we have lots of dry weather and warmer than normal temperatures. And that's exactly what we see as we go into this afternoon. Here are your high temperatures across the United States and southern Canada this afternoon. You notice the 40 and 50 degree line pushing well to the north to the U.S.-Canadian border. We have 60s moving up into the front range of the Rockies into western Kansas. This is December, folks, so this is very anomalously warm for this time of year, and it doesn't stop there. As we go into Thursday, that warmer air starts to slide its way off from west to east there into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley into the southeast, and then as we go into Friday, we're seeing much of the same with 40s, 50s, and 60s out there, and even 70s down here into much of Texas Hill Country, and the Rio Grande Valley could even be into the 80s as we go into the Friday afternoon time frame. Just remarkable for the early portion of December. Now, we do have a big storm system to talk about later this week into this upcoming weekend. We have a pretty significant trough digging in here across the Rockies, all the way down into Arizona and New Mexico as we go into Friday, December 8th, later this week. And this trough will actually dig all the way down, believe it or not, to the Houston Metroplex, New Orleans, and even the Hattiesburg, Mississippi region, all the way down to the Gulf Coast as we go into Saturday and Sunday time frame with a neutral to negatively tilted trough. And what that means is we have a strengthening storm system as we go into this weekend. So our first storm system of note here will be developing across the south central plains as we go into Friday. This will be more of a nuisance, bringing some showers, a few thunderstorms there across Kansas into Missouri, maybe some backwash moisture into the front range of the Rockies and Colorado with some lighter snowfall. Not that big of a deal. That low pressure system will be racing up to the north and east along a cold frontal boundary, and that will be leaving us with a new low pressure system that will begin to develop on Saturday later in the day. That will spark some severe weather across the southern United States on Saturday, some of which could be significant severe weather at that. Then as we go into Sunday, that system begins to rapidly intensify to a 996 millibar low up there into interior New England. We have heavy rain and severe weather changing to heavy snow on the backside, with some heavier snows falling from eastern Ohio into West Virginia there, into western Pennsylvania, and even western New York. That will get into Ontario and Quebec, Canada, with the cold air on the backside. But even with the warm sector on Sunday, we'll have to keep an eye on Virginia and the Carolinas and down into Georgia and Florida for some severe weather as we go into Sunday time frame. Here's one of the impacts this storm will bring, and we know with a strong storm system, we always have to watch out for the gradient winds out there near the surface. Out of the north and west, we'll be seeing some very strong winds up here across the upper Midwest and the Missouri Valley on Saturday. This will be ushering in all that cold Canadian air across those regions, and those wind gusts could be over 30 miles per hour in the Midwest. Ahead of the storm system, the winds out ahead of the cold front into the Ohio Valley and into the Tennessee Valley in the Mid-Atlantic will actually be from southwest to northeast on Saturday, gusting over 40 miles per hour. Then as we have a rapid deepening of the low pressure system on Sunday into Monday time frame, we're going to be seeing a rapid deepening in our wind gusts here, in our gradient winds at the surface. Could be gusting over 50, if not over 60 miles per hour for much of New England. The Northeast, this does include New York City, Long Island, Boston, getting into Cape Cod up here, all the way up into Maine. Eastern Canada even at play for this with the strong winds as we go into Sunday and even the Monday time frame as well. So something to keep an eye on there. Now with the severe weather potential, look at how strong this cold front will be on Saturday. We have a very sharp front. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex will barely be reaching 40 degrees for the dew point temperatures on Saturday. And then look at just a couple hundred miles east into Shreveport, Louisiana. We're at about 62, 63 degrees Fahrenheit with a dew point temperature. That's very significant. That means we have a strong cold front on our hands, a lot of lift, a lot of dynamics in play here on Saturday. That could lead to some significant severe weather on Saturday. And then that cold front will shift further to the east on Sunday, bringing that warm sector up here into the Delmarva region, into the Carolinas, Georgia, and into Florida as we go through Sunday. So overall, here's the severe weather potential for Saturday, December 9th. Largely unchanged from yesterday's weather forecast, just due to the impacts with the system still remaining the same here across the Deep South. Places like Little Rock, Memphis, Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, and even the Houston Metroplex are still in play for all modes of severe weather, especially if you do live within this orange shaded color. Do be on high alert for severe weather on Saturday. Then as we go into Sunday, this shifts further off to the east. This could be as far north as, yes, eastern Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State before changing to snow on the backside. So not only could you see thunderstorms and severe weather, but this could change to snow after that just a few hours later. So a very dynamic system up here as we go into Sunday, and the cities impacted are on the left-hand side of your screen as we go into Sunday. Overall, here is the rainfall accumulation in which this storm will be providing us here for the eastern United States and eastern Canada. Beneficial rains at that across the southeastern United States, where we have a significant drought outgoing here. We definitely continue to see some nice improvements with that, with the heavier rains. And look at how heavy the rainfall could be up here before it changes over to snow into the Northeast. We have a heavy snowpack, mind you, across this region. We have lots of snow on the ground. We're going to put rain on top of that snow, and 1 to 2 inches of rain, and then changing back over to snow. So a very sloppy environment up here this weekend into early next week across New England and the Northeast, that is for sure. Looking at the snow side of this, our first storm will be a little weaker than anticipated. It has trended weaker in the latest model runs across the upper Midwest and down into the Missouri Valley. Maybe a couple of inches of snow from the UP of Michigan down through Wisconsin into eastern Iowa and northwestern Missouri. Probably not that big of a deal, and most of that will likely be on grassy surfaces. Our second storm and our potent and parent low pressure system here will be moving eastward across the Appalachian chain up through West Virginia, getting into Pennsylvania, New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and even into eastern Canada Sunday into Monday timeframe. This could be giving us a solid 3 to 6 inches or more of snowfall, especially in New York State as we go into the late weekend and early next week timeframe. So do be mindful of that. After this storm system is over, we're going to go back and reset the start button on our weather pattern here. We're going to see well above normal temperatures across the upper Midwest as we go into the middle of December. This takes us through Tuesday, December 19th, and we reset the weather pattern. Although the difference here is the subtropical jet will become more dominant across the southern United States as we get toward the middle of December, bringing our precipitation a little bit higher than normal across the southern United States. And that's what we like to see, because our soil moisture anomalies here across Dixie Alley in particular, especially Louisiana into Mississippi, are well below normal here, about as low as you can get on the chart. So we need the moisture desperately here across the deep south, but really across the eastern 2/3 of the country in general. And it looks like we'll get just that as we have this next storm system move through this weekend and early next week. And overall through December, the drought will remain, but it will improve across portions of the deep south, especially the Dixie Alley here, and more importantly, portions of coastal Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, where we have that exceptional drought widespread, will be slowly improving as we go through the month here of December. And some areas could even have drought removal in the darker greens into portions of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Alabama as well. So that is something to keep an eye on. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns on North America, and we'll keep you updated on this upcoming winter storm system to impact the area this weekend and into next week. Press the like button down below if you like today's weather forecast. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday out there.